I think that we can all agree that the average figure skater, gymnast, or bodybuilder has a great physique. What do they all have in common? They weigh a lot more than they look. Hello everyone, welcome to Mind Blowing Health and Wellness with Violet. The reason I make these videos is because I want everyone to understand that your mental health and your physical health come together to create your total well-being. And I think that when we have information, we do better for ourselves. What I wanted to talk about today was the fact that muscle takes up so much less space than fat. And so what that means is that if I have a pound of muscle on me, it takes up a lot less volume than a pound of fat would. Muscle is a lot more metabolically active than fat. So having more fat on you, not only are you physically bigger, but then the fat walks around with you, but it doesn't really do as much for you as the muscle would. And I know some of you are going to come in and say, oh, but Violet, the brown fat does a lot for you. And I'm not talking about brown fat. Most people who are trying to lose weight are not trying to lose brown fat. As a matter of fact, we all have some brown fat on us, but it doesn't actually take up the majority of the space that's being occupied by fat. So you jump on the scale and you're like, oh my God, I have to lose some of this fat. And you decide today's the day, and you start working out and you start eating right, and you pass a whole 24 hours of just being totally on point. And then tomorrow you jump on the scale and nothing's changed. We do this. We actually do this. We will work out and expect to see the scale change tomorrow. And what's very interesting is that it doesn't. So first of all, am I going to have dramatic weight loss because I worked out today and then tomorrow I'm going to wake up and I'm going to be magically thinner and lighter and healthier? No. One day of working out is not going to change your entire world. Otherwise, there wouldn't be a weight loss industry. But the flip side of the coin is it possible that our weight fluctuates up and down in a very short period of a few days? That is also possible. Okay, the first thing we need to understand, we can have fluctuations in our water weight because of the amount of sodium and carbohydrates that we allow in our diet. So water weight, yes, can fluctuate up and down dramatically. You can have a pound difference over the course of a day or two or three. Did our actual weight, so did our body fat change? No, not in the course of a day. Then is it a good idea for us to weigh ourselves daily? And I'm going to tell you, I think it's the worst thing that women do. Women do this and it's worse, but men do it too. And it's a really bad idea. Because if there's one thing that you're psychologically, emotionally invested in, it's how much you weigh. If there's one thing that's going to really make you feel like a failure, it's when you're trying to change your weight and you're unable to do it. So do I endorse in any way, shape, or form weighing yourself daily? No. When you weigh yourself daily, you will not see enough change to be excited about continuing on in your journey, because especially if you've had long-term weight issues. So now I'm talking about if you've had weight issues for years, maybe even since you were a kid, and you finally decide to tackle this, not seeing the scale move, sometimes for days, sometimes for weeks, can be very discouraging. But I'm here with good news, because I'm going to tell you what you can do that will actually help you to focus on what's really going to keep you motivated. And I'm going to tell you what you can do to really help yourself to be in the best possible position to stick with your diet long term. Weighing yourself is a trap, period. And I really don't think you should do it. Now, I'm not going to say that I don't do it, because of course I do it. However, what I'm going to say is you need to stop weighing yourself and do these other things I'm going to tell you to do. And then at some point in the future, actually at the end of this video, I'm going to tell you how you should weigh yourself so that you can have success. But for this part of the video, let's just focus on this thing, because there's a few things that you can do that are better than weighing yourself. First of all, you need to look at what you're doing along your weight loss journey. Because if what you're doing is working out, so working out alongside diet, then what's going to be really frustrating for you to learn is that you could actually gain weight in that process before you lose any. And I'm going to tell you why. Remember at the beginning of the video, I told you that muscle takes up less space, but is much heavier, so it's denser than fat. So when you start working out, your muscles, they're in there and they're growing and they're hiding under the fat and they're growing, and you don't notice it because you're still got the fat on top, but they're actually going to cause you to gain before you lose. So if you choose to work out alongside your journey, so working out while you're losing, yes, there's a chance where you might step on the scale and be like, what the hell? I've been working out for weeks. How come my weight is going up? But again, muscle, more dense, takes up less space, but weighs more. And so therefore, that could be the reason. Another element to this is that if while you're doing, let's say you're doing a ketogenic lifestyle, and all of a sudden you realize that you can go hours and hours between meals, you might fall into some kind of time restricted feeding or intermittent fasting or regime where you go many hours, maybe even days without eating, and back and forth between eating and not eating. And what we know about fasting is that it's muscle sparing, but we also know that it promotes muscle growth. So that's another reason that you might end up with muscle under your fat and not even realize that, oh my gosh, my weight is going up, even though I should be losing, right? I'm working so hard, remember? So those are two things I want to just say out loud, because I feel like most people don't say them out loud, and then people give up because they feel like, well, I'm doing all this exercise and I'm watching what I eat, and now I'm gaining weight and it doesn't make any sense to them, and they stop. In both of these situations, the addition of muscle is going to help you long term, because muscle, as I said at the beginning, is much more metabolically active than fat. So by working out, by allowing your body to gain the muscle that it's gaining, in the long run, you're going to be burning more energy. Even when you're sitting down, you're going to be burning more energy just like doing small little things, because you'll have more muscle moving around than fat. I also want you to keep in mind that if you are losing weight by doing a very well planned out diet, for example, a ketogenic diet, for example, a paleo diet, if you are being mindful of the foods you ingest and you're not losing weight, there's another piece of the puzzle that a lot of people don't talk about, which is your body is very smart. It's important to remember that we can only have 5 grams of carbs in our system at any particular point in time, so that when we eat food, if the foods we are eating are carbohydrate based or have any carbs at all in them, that will affect what our body is doing. So the first thing our body does is get rid of any toxins that are present. Sugar being a toxin, alcohol being a toxin. Alcohol is treated before sugar. So alcohol first, sugar next. Any other more dangerous chemical before alcohol will be treated before alcohol, okay? But then when those two things are taken care of, then our body actually can go towards cell cleanup and solving metabolic issues. There's a possibility that you might not be losing weight because your body is not focused on the weight loss, because the weight loss is less important than a metabolic issue you might have going on. The weight loss is less important than some cancerous cells that it's found that it needs to fight. The weight loss is less important than some other issue that your body knows, because your body is super smart. It takes care of the most dangerous issues before it focuses on other issues. So the other thing to keep in mind is that if you are eating very well and you're spot on and you don't see any holes in what you're doing, keep going. Don't give up on yourself. If you've decided to make these changes, you didn't decide to make these changes for no reason. There's a very big possibility that you decided to make a dietary change, that you decided to increase the exercise that you're doing, that you've decided to take care of your health now because something was happening that made you realize, hey, this is important. If it's important, don't give up on it. If your body needs to process other things before it can focus on the weight loss again, as long as you know that you're eating what you're supposed to eat and you're exercising the way you're supposed to exercise, and again, you don't even need to be exercising during the beginning of this process. Food is what determines your weight. Exercise is for strength and flexibility. If you want to be strong and flexible, absolutely exercise, but don't think that the exercise is pushing the weight loss, because it really, 20% maybe, right? And that's 80% is coming from what you eat. I would really encourage you, if you're struggling to do both, focus on the food, put the exercise down if you need to. It would be beneficial for anyone who is dieting to just ignore the scale for as much as possible and focus on eating nutrient-dense, healthy foods that minimize the increase of insulin, so carbohydrate-light foods so that your insulin levels can stay low, because insulin is what drives you to store energy as fat. But then what do you pay attention to? And you're going to pay attention to your body. I know it seems like a simple answer, and it is. All the answers that make the most sense tend to be the simple answers. Pay attention to your body. You're probably going to notice that you look thinner. That's the first thing that, physically that we're able to see. When we start to do a diet and it starts to work, we do notice that we look thinner. The other thing that you might notice is you have more energy. Physically, you feel stronger and you can do more. Maybe you don't get winded when you're walking up the stairs. Maybe you're running up the stairs. Those are the things that you're going to notice when you actually focus yourself in on your diet and pay less attention to the scale. Is that over time, your body will look different. It will feel different. You'll notice less inflammation. You will feel healthier, and you will be able to move easier. When we weigh ourselves daily, we end up focusing on the numbers. And as important as we believe the numbers are, they're not the best marker of whether you're improving or not. A number on a scale can't tell you how you feel. A number on a scale doesn't tell you how strong you are. A number on a scale is just a number. When I had my hip issue, the one thing I can tell you is that after a few weeks of eating a ketogenic lifestyle, my hip started to feel better after a few weeks. And after, I think, 2 months, my hip was completely like a distant memory. I didn't even remember that I had a hip issue. Now, if you consider that that was months away from when I actually reached my maintenance weight. So reaching my maintenance weight took 7 months. But after 2 months, my hip issue was gone. So the weight on the scale isn't the only marker of things progressing and things going well. I had indications that my body was improving even by week 2 because my inflammation was starting to go away, even though my weight hadn't changed that much. So you need to be careful when you're focusing only on weight. Everyone knows I didn't do this for weight loss. I did it to feel good. And weight loss just happened to be a side effect. So what are you doing this for, right? Is it for weight loss? Your side effect is going to be better health. But if it's for better health, yeah, there might be a side effect of weight loss. They kind of go together. But at the same time, weight loss is not the be all and end all. The best motivation that I had to not only continue to eat this way to get to my maintenance weight, but also to continue to eat this weight today, months after being at my maintenance weight, is that I feel good. Fear of a heart attack, fear of a stroke, fear of diabetes, none of those things had me accomplish changing my diet in any real measurable way. What changed my diet was trying a new way of eating to solve a painful situation, and having that new way of eating solve multiple painful situations. No longer having knee issues, no longer having back issues, no longer having neck issues, no longer having hip issues, no longer having what I think was the beginning of arthritis. All of those things are gone, right? Everybody's different. But do I believe that there's an underlying idea here that everyone can learn from? Yes. It's well known that we cannot have more than 5 grams of carbohydrates in our system because it's toxic. It's well known that carbohydrates cause inflammation. It's well known. It's well known that carbohydrates cause a host of problems. You want to weigh yourself? I'm not going to tell you not to weigh yourself. Like I said, I weigh myself. You want to weigh yourself? My suggestion to you is this. Pick a day in the month. Weigh yourself once a month, even while you're trying to lose. I say a month because it gives you a nice long period of time where you're just not focused on weight, where you can live your life, enjoy your food, and make sure that you're on a good path. A lot of people won't be able to wait a month. Okay, I'm going to give it option 2. This is not as ideal. Once a week. Pick a day, once a week. That's the day you weigh in. It can be once a week. Once every other week would be better. Once a month is ideal. Stop weighing yourself daily. Water weight changes can cause fluctuations over the course of a few days. Focus on eating nutrient-dense food. Focus on creating a menu for yourself that you love, that you know you can stick to long term. Focus on doing the things that are going to help you to stick to a healthier lifestyle so that you can manage your weight long term. And weighing yourself once a month is going to be part of that, because it gives you a month to work on your menu, a month to make sure that you're eating less than 50 grams of carbs in a day. It gives you a month to really plan it out and not worry about, I have to lose a pound before next week, Wednesday, right? You have a whole month to lose whatever you can manage to lose in a month. If you're trying to lose weight for bikini season, and then I can go back to my regular way of eating, you've already failed. If you focus on just a short-term goal, and then that's yo-yo dieting, and it's a really horrible idea. So what choice are you making for your future? Are you going to weigh yourself once a month and then focus all of your time and energy on creating a meal plan, whether it's a weekly meal plan or a monthly meal plan, and really trying to make sure that I love what I'm eating? That means getting new recipes. That means getting, right? There's another video I'm going to link up for you up there that talks about that, about planning your meals and really like loving what you eat and making sure that you cook for yourself. It's important to cook for yourself. I want to thank you for watching Mind Blowing Health and Wellness with Violet. If it's your first time seeing my video, please subscribe and click that bell so you know when my next video is coming out. I'll talk to you in the next video.